Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back to Pop and Culture Podcast, episode 57. I'm Adrian.
I'm Jay.
And I'm trying to slow my speech down a little bit. I've noticed I speak rather quickly, usually. So I'm going to try to slow down and enunciate. And it's going to last, what do you give it, 3 minutes?
If that.
All right, let's go. I got to talk about this. Oh.
We could always go NPR style, like, welcome to Pop and Culture Podcast for the week of... I don't even know what this week is.
January 13th, 2016. No, it is the 13th.
Yes. On this episode, we will speak of comics, alcohol, and the joy that they bring.
It's the only joy I have in my life.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, God.
I mean, it could be worse things.
I need to drink this thought
Okay.
away.
All right. So what are we drinking this week?
We are drinking something we talked about last time, which is going to be Elysian the Fix. So it's a chocolate coffee imperial stout. I had this before, and I found it to be delightful.
And I did not have this before, but I'm hoping to be delighted.
You will be, and I went to go buy it for you, and, well, you all heard that story.
Yeah. But you found a good bottle this week.
Yeah, Fred Meyer is now carrying it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's funny, because I drive by the cave all the time, and even though they close at 10, like, half the times it's like 8:30 and they're closed, so I don't know what's going on with that place.
I don't know.
But they were open at, like, 9 a.m. this morning. So
it's weird.
It is what it is. Kind of got to make it under the cable there.
I actually almost picked us up something special this week.
Oh?
Actually, I was going to pick it up last week.
Is it what I think it is?
It's Cloudburst.
That is what I was. So I wanted to. I have a couple ideas for beer, and as you guys all know, Jay and I don't really prep for this.
No, this is on the fly all the time.
Always is. I was going to drink the fix. I was going to tell our listeners about that, so you know, and then I was going to talk about this huge thing next to me.
Okay.
And not, the one next to me, not between me,
right,
if you follow.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, no. All right, let's drink our beer.
Okay.
What do you think?
It's good.
Yes. I feel like there's a but coming.
So I tend to have, I don't want to say issues, but when I'm drinking an aged beer, I tend to it doesn't have the pop of some of the flavors. Like you can tell they're all there, but it's a little bit more mellow. But this one's good. I would definitely drink it again. But yeah.
I thought it was good. So
no, it's
dark, rich, and roasty with Stumptown coffee and aged on cocoa nibs, sourced by Theo Chocolate. This stout is complex and full of your favorite dark matter beer. So it was a silver medal winner, 2013. What I really like about it is this is as Pacific Northwest as it comes.
Oh, yeah.
Theo's Chocolate, which is here in Seattle.
Yep.
It's brewed by a Seattle company.
Yep.
It is made with a coffee from Portland, which has its primary roaster in Seattle now.
Is that Stumptown, right?
Yeah. So, this is as Pacific Northwest as it comes. With the exception, and then you've all heard us talk about it, that it's no longer owned by a Pacific Northwest company. It's now owned by Anheuser-Busch. Which brings us to the other thing you mentioned.
Yeah, so we talked about this when the news first broke. When Elysian did, in fact, sell out, their experimental brewer decided he did not want to stay with the company. Which I actually found out he was already planning on doing this at their brewery even before that. So I don't know how that was going to work. But so he opened a new brewery just outside of Pike Place Market here in Seattle called Cloudburst.
Yes.
And their tasting room opened last Wednesday.
It sure did. On New Comic Book Day, because they knew.
Yeah.
They knew.
I happened to be in Seattle at my company's Seattle office on that particular Wednesday, and my plan was to go in and get a growler fill.
Yes.
Unfortunately, their first week of the tasting room being open, they were not doing growler fills. So that will be forthcoming. Probably the next time I'm down in the Seattle office, I'll swing by and pick up a growler.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So obviously this beer's been around for a couple of years. It won the medal in 2013. which means I feel like he probably had a hand
Oh,
in
he
this.
absolutely did.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other alcohol I want to talk about today is this. As you see me reaching down to pick this up. Boom. For those of you who can't see, this is 3 liters of the 2015 Double Bastard by Stone Brewery. Me and the guys who played D&D together, because we're not dorks, took this. The 4 of us took this down in one night.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you and I were ready to do it in one night, but
And I think we could.
we absolutely could.
The only
but
place I know
it's-
I can get another one of these for you and I take down as a night is Special Brews.
Yeah.
So,
There's that.
there is that. It was delightful. Like, it was really good. I will say it lost some of its carbonation. So I don't think the seal on it's like 100%.
Okay.
So it lost a little carbonation, not enough that I was not drinking it.
Sure.
Really good. Really enjoyed it. Yeah. So for those of you who can find one of them, I strongly recommend buying it.
Yeah, just throw a crazy straw in there and go to town.
And it's funny, the bottle even says on it, and it comes with a chain and a lock around it. For those of you who hear that rattling, that's what that is. The bottle literally says, if you are hesitating, do not buy this beer.
Oh.
Like, I will read it to you because I just love it so much. Warning, Double Bastard Ale is not to be wasted on the tentative or the weak. Only the worthy are invited, and then only at your own risk. If you have even a modicum of hesitation, do not, in caps, buy this bottle. Instead, leave it for a worthy soul who has already matriculated to the sublime ecstasy of what those in the known refer to as liquid arrogance. And damn it,
Yeah.
it was worthy. It's
Okay.
delightful. It's a 2015 release. I found out they've been doing this for a couple years. So obviously you can't go back and try the other ones.
Right.
But from this point going forward, I sure can.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I sure will.
Nice.
All right.
Before we move on, I have one more bit of beer speak. And I don't know how you're going to react to this, but I know a couple people that are very, very excited about this. And oddly enough, not the hipster crowd. So, Rainier Beer, you are familiar. Vitamin R.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
Uh,
For those of you who aren't, it's just PBR.
yeah, but it's born and bred in Seattle, PBR.
Yes.
Back in, I want to say it was the late 80s, early 90s, they were bought out by another beer company, and all of the production of Rainier moved to California.
Yeah.
It has been announced that production is moving back to Seattle.
Back to Seattle for a little more Vitamin R, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people that are excited about that. I have not yet got my brother's reaction, who is a Vitamin R connoisseur.
Oh, he is. That dude loves it.
But I'm curious where they're going to be brewing it, because the old Rainier Brewery, for those of you that are familiar with the Seattle area, you can see it right off of I-5. It is Tully's headquarters now.
Yeah, but the
R is back.
The R is back.
The R is
So
back.
it's a building right off of, like you said, Interstate 5 in the West Seattle Bridge. And it is Tully's headquarters. And it had a big R on it for the longest time.
Yeah, it was a landmark.
And then it had the Tully sign.
Yep.
But the R is
The
back.
R is back. I went to the R is back party. But yeah, so that's coming home to Seattle. So there's a lot of people that are excited about that.
Tully's isn't doing that great.
No,
Maybe
I
they're-
think like 90% of the existing Tullys are now inside of Boeing factories and in China.
don't forget a couple Safeways. There's a couple in a Safeway here and there.
Yeah, but I mean the vast majority.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's my beer news.
Hey, that's good news. Like anything that comes home, I'm happy with. And who knows, maybe they'll do like an interesting blend every now and then.
Maybe.
All right, so let's move on to some TV.
Okay.
What you got?
I watched a whole hell of a lot of TV.
All right, I'm listening.
And keep in mind, we didn't record last week, so some of this was stuff that I watched in the last 2 weeks. Finished Degrassi High.
All 14 seasons?
No, so Degrassi High was only 2 seasons. Degrassi The Next Generation is 14 seasons.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to finish Degrassi Next Gen by the time the Netflix one premieres, I think tomorrow.
Okay, man, okay. Guys, that's it for episode number 57. We'll be back in 14 hours when we get through Degrassi.
14 hours?
I'm just
No.
going to watch it all in fast forward, dude.
Oh,
Just
okay.
gonna watch
I
it
mean,
all in
sure.
Fast forward.
Yeah.
All right, so you finished Degrassi.
Finished Degrassi High. One of the characters ends up in jail and all kinds of the normal shenanigans that Canadian youth get up to.
Oh, you Canadians.
I'm now. I finished season 1 of The Next Gen. I got disc 1 of season 2 showing up today. I still don't know where I'm going to find the last 6 seasons, but it's out there.
It's got to be torrented somewhere, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Season 7 of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee premiered.
With
Barack Obama.
That's right.
Yeah.
All over the news.
Kind of a lackluster episode because they couldn't drive off the White House grounds.
Not surprised. Also, he's very witty and funny when things are written for him. Off the cuff, he kind of...
Yeah, there was some awkward moments in there. Yeah.
Okay.
So I watched that. Finished Mad Men.
Oh.
Which very disappointed with the ending of that show.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
But John Hamm still won the Golden Globe.
Somehow.
I think it was a nod.
It was nostalgia.
It had to be like, all right, this is the last time he's going to get this fucking award.
Yeah. Finished Heart of Dixie, finally.
Oh, okay.
It was all good until they broke out in song.
Shut.
The last, 3 or 4
way.
minutes of the final episode is the entire cast just singing.
Why?
Because they hadn't done a musical episode.
Oh,
and every show has to have a musical episode.
how's Rachel Bilson singing?
Well, it was everybody singing all together.
Damn it.
So you didn't really hear.
I wanted to hear that auto-tune.
I would imagine it's probably pretty nasally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned last time we recorded because I don't remember when I finished it, but we finished Californication.
Okay.
Also kind of a lackluster ending. That whole last season was just kind of meh. Started season 4 of Melissa and Joey. Last night, actually. 2 nights ago.
Oh, buddy. I tapped out 3, maybe 4 episodes in.
Yeah, we got 4 episodes in.
So
I really liked what they were doing with the first episode, which was the Halloween episode.
Oh, the Halloween episode was interesting.
For the first 3 minutes, it was good.
How it was Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yes. And then it went all downhill from there. The Aunt Zelda gal can't act anymore, apparently. I don't know what happened with that. But yeah, we'll finish it because it's the last season. It was officially canceled.
Yes.
So we'll finish it out.
I don't know if I can, dude. I tried. It's bad.
I know.
So, because Ryder's gone now.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out if in the first episode under the sheet, if that was even the actor or not. Because you don't see his face at all.
You don't see his face. You see him, I think, once or twice. They video chat him in because he's off at college.
Okay.
And
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, so there's that. And then the other show I started, I'm now a season and a half into, is Lilyhammer.
I've never heard of Lilyhammer.
So Lilyhammer was Netflix's first original series.
Okay.
It ran 3 seasons. It actually just finished up this last year. So it's about this guy who's in the mob in New York. And the Don dies. And this guy thinks he's the next in line because he was the Don's right-hand man. And instead of making him the new Don, they made the former Don's brother, who was an accountant and barely even part of the mob, the new Don.
That is not how it works.
No. So the first episode opens up at this guy's funeral, and it's a conversation between the 2 guys. And Frank, the fixer, which was the right-hand man, he's talking to the new guy, and he's like, you don't have to worry about my guys coming after you, but you should worry about your own guys, because there's a lot of people that are not happy about this.
Right.
The next scene, you've got Frank the fixer at his bar that he owns, cleaning up, and somebody comes in and tries to assassinate him. So he's like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the FBI and just turn all these people in now. So he turns informant, and then they put him in a witness protection program. Where do you want to go? Florida, South America? We got all the normal locations. And he's like, no, I watched the 1984 Olympics in Norway. I want to go to Lilyhammer. So it's just this small town in Norway. And he's like, nobody's going to think to look for me there. So he goes, they put him there, and then he essentially just starts making a mafia there. He buys a nightclub, he's blackmailing people,
I would much rather if that rat bastard got capped at the end of the first episode and they just move on.
What, Frankie?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he went rat.
Yeah. But so yeah, it's all about him in Norway now.
Is it good?
It is good. The first season was really good. In the second season, they've done some of those kind of almost comedic turns. Like like the bumbling assassins that find out where he is and come to try to kill him. So I'm not kind of liking that as much, but and then they brought a kid into the picture. He knocked up some Norwegian girl, so now he's got to balance being a mafia guy and being a dad and watching the kids and all that. But
That's what you have a Guma for. She can double as the nanny.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
this is just Mob 101, people.
So-
like,
But all in all, good show so far. Like I said, I'm halfway through the second season, so that means I'm halfway through the whole show.
okay.
I'll keep watching it.
Anybody notable in it?
So the main actor is Steven Van Zandt, which right,
I remember seeing that now and just rolling my eyes and
Yeah.
not watching it.
but he's the Italian American kind of spick type of guy, so he does the role
sorry.
pretty well.
Did you say spick?
Yeah,
I would be fine with that. As you know, I love my slurs, but a spick is a Puerto Rican or a Mexican.
no, wait, what am I thinking? What's the Italian?
A Goomba?
I guess Goomba. Yeah,
Goomba's fine.
sure. So he's the Goomba. But for those of you that don't know who Steven Van Zandt is in real life, he was guitar player for Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. He's actually in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And at some point, he's like, "All right, I'm not doing the music anymore. Let me write TV."
He was also in The Sopranos.
He was in The Sopranos. That was his first big acting role
Yeah.
after the music. I haven't seen The Sopranos. It's
I know. I know.
yeah. So that's it for me for TV.
Okay. A couple things for me to talk about really fast. The first one I actually want to talk about is the Cleveland show.
Okay. I didn't know that was still on.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
Fourth season was the last season. Jess and I are binging through it because you'd never seen it before.
Okay.
So kind of how that came to fruition was I just wanted background noise while I was doing whatever around the house.
Sure.
It was a Cleveland show. She started watching. She started laughing. Thought it was really funny. So we've binged through. We're got 3 episodes left in season 4. And I always forget how good seasons 1 through 3 are. Like, legitimately, I love seasons 1 through 3.
Okay.
And how bad season 4 gets so quickly. But it reminded me the same thing happened to Family Guy. Like, when they went off the air, the season coming back was pretty rough, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like that's always the trait. The only one who stays pretty consistent is American Dad of all of his TV shows.
I think probably 2 or 3 seasons after Family Guy came back, it got good again. But that returning season, there was a lot of...
Family Guy remains ebbs and flows. Some episodes are good, some are bad. There's no longer a consistently good season.
Yeah.
But Cleveland show is actually well worth the watch.
Okay.
Streaming on Netflix. It's really funny. I enjoy it. It is just the Family Guy, though. That's actually what bothers me about season 4. Seasons 1 through 3, they didn't do the cut scenes.
Okay.
Like, it was just, there's the story. There wasn't like, hey, remember that time? Cut and come back. They did that a lot in season 4.
Okay.
And that kind of ruined it for me. The other thing is we've been watching more telenovela.
Oh, jeez. I saw like a TV commercial for it. I'm like, I just can't do it.
It's exactly what you think it would be.
Yeah.
Exactly what you think it'd be. Moving on. We've also been watching Grandfathered.
Okay.
It's back on the air.
Sure.
God, I love that show. God, I love that show. This newest episode had so Jimmy, played by Stamos, has decided he's been out of the game. Like, he's too busy wrapped up with the family and its concerns, and it's time to get back to being Jimmy. It's time to go out. It's time to drink. It's time to party. So he calls together his boys. They call him the Sat Pack.
Okay.
Because they get together on Saturdays.
Sure.
He thinks he's very clever with it, and everyone else obviously just does what you did. Just roll your eyes like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But that's part of the joke. He's like, isn't that clever? And everyone's like, no. Anyways, one of his buddies is Bob Saget.
Oh,
It's-
jeez.
So it's like him and Saget being like this close to making out.
Oh,
Because they have this really weird relationship. When they see each other, they put their foreheads and noses together when they talk to each other.
why?
It's just this weird, almost homosexual like thing. You're just like, this is really uncomfortable, but it's also funny at the same time. But it is Saget being less Full House and more Bob Saget.
Okay.
Like talking about pussy and wanting to get laid and like all that. It was really funny.
Nice.
So I enjoyed that. The other show we've been watching is MasterChef Junior. Not a big deal there.
Yeah.
I had it written down. I thought I wrote it down.
I was going to say,
I know.
if you did, what pen are you using? Because it's gone.
I actually write with urine, so that way it becomes invisible.
nice.
So if you
Hold
actually
on,
have
let me
a
get a-
flame,
yeah.
bring it back up. You know we're gonna go off the air. I'll be like, that was the one.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, I have a movie to talk about.
Sure.
Vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you and I are in the same boat. Our wives love National Lampoons.
Absolutely.
I do not.
Now, I'm. If it's on and there's nothing else on, I'll do something else with it in the background. But
Alright.
I'm not. Oh, I gotta watch Family Vacation. I gotta watch Christmas Vacation.
Nope. Every holiday, Jess watches Christmas. She loves it all. And
Yeah.
like you, I'm like, all right, baby, let's do this. Grab like my Surface or the Nintendo Wii and start playing.
Yeah.
So Vacation, for those of you who are not aware, it's the newest one that made. So Rusty the boy has grown up and he's now taken his family on vacation because they find themselves in a rut. And he remembers it when he was young, the big car ride and everything and going there. There's a whole scene between...
Didn't he complain through the whole damn movie though?
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah. So why is he reenacting this?
When you look back on those times, you look back on it fondly.
If my family had ever taken a vacation when I was younger, I don't think I would look back on it fondly.
My family also never took vacations when we were young.
Mm-mm.
I was going to say, I remember when my brother broke my front teeth when we were in California and being really angry, but the rest of the trip was fun.
Okay.
I can't say it was a vacation. We were there for a funeral,
Well.
but I never met the guy who died, so for me, it was a vacation. My parents, not so much.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, okay, Dad's one of 18. I never met that uncle. Yeah, my parents don't listen to this. It's okay.
No. Okay. Good.
All right, we're
Yeah.
fine. So Vacation, it was just like all the other National Lampoons.
Okay.
The same humor, the same types of jokes, same everything. I'm glad we watched it. Half the fun for me was watching her reactions.
Sure.
Because to her, this was the funniest thing that she's seen in a long time. Whereas for me, I was like, it's cute. It's funnier watching her laugh and seeing that she's so happy with it. All things considered, if you like the other National Lampoons, you'll like this. If you're meh on them, you're going to be meh on this.
Okay. Cool. I watched a couple movies. Watched Love and Honor, which I don't recommend at all. It was pretty terrible.
Who's in that?
Thor's younger brother. The other. What the hell is his name?
Tom Hiddleston? Loki?
No. Real life.
Oh, Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah. So he's one of the main guys in it. I don't remember who the other guy was.
Nope, I just want to make sure it's the movie I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, real terrible.
Yeah.
Two guys during Vietnam. One of them has a girl back home who sends him a Dear John letter. They get R&R and they decide to go back to the States, and then they tell everybody that they deserted, and it's this whole stupid thing.
Should just watch Pearl Harbor instead.
No.
What?
I've made that mistake before.
I remember that being a good movie.
This is like how you remember good vacations.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
So I watched that. I watched A Single Man, which it's got Colin Firth as the main character.
Okay.
Do you know this one?
I don't.
Okay. So it's a stream of consciousness movie is what they call it. So the whole thing is just following him as he goes throughout his life. He just lost his partner of like 15 years. He died. So he's all depressed now and he's going out and he's a college professor and he's making all these plans. Like the whole movie takes place over like 3 days. So he's making plans to kill himself because he's so depressed.
Okay.
All of a sudden, one of the students from one of his classes starts like, hey, we should hang out and have a beer and this kind of stuff. And the cinematography in the movie is kind of weird. So the depressing scenes, or the scenes where he's depressed, are kind of muted gray. Not like black and white, but all the colors are definitely muted. And then when he's feeling better about things, they get a little bit more reddish and warm.
I like that.
That was super cool. So the movie goes on and he ends up meeting this kid for a drink and they hang out and whatever, and then he decides that he doesn't want to kill himself. So he puts away like the suicide note and the gun and everything like that, and he goes and sits on his bed and he's like just at peace. And then he has a fucking heart attack and dies.
Shut the fuck up.
That's the end of the movie.
No, the end of the movie should him becoming the Kingsman.
Right?
That should have been where that was going.
That would have been great. But no, he just dies in the end anyways.
God, no, I hate that. It's cop out bullshit.
Right? And then the other movie I watched was this thing called Star Wars Force Awakens.
Did you finally watch
I
it?
did.
Oh, thank God.
We
I was
watched-
going to
we
ask
watched
you.
that
Please
Saturday
talk
night.
about it now.
And how horrible it is.
Okay, let's talk about a couple things. For those of you who haven't listened, get over it. It's been a month now.
Did you see the thing online about the guy?
The Han Solo car?
Yeah.
Yes. My brother sent it to me.
So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, there's a guy who, you get the window decals for your car, and on the back of his SUV, he just put Han Solo dies in The Force Awakens. If you really want it, you can have it.
That's all right.
Okay. Yeah, so he put this big sticker on his car, and everyone's calling him the biggest douchebag ever. I'm like, the movie's been out for almost a month.
Yeah,
now.
no, he gets total
It's fine.
pass.
You get 2-week moratorium on spoilers.
I believe this guy is called an IRL troll,
Yes.
which would be in real life troll.
Yeah.
Like, that dude has no fucks left to give, and I love him for it. So let's talk about this movie. You watched the remake of Episode 4,
I did.
and that's all it was.
With a little bit of is it Phantom Menace? So BB-8 is essentially just an amalgam of R2-D2 and Jar Jar Binks.
Pretty much. So
Yeah.
tell me what movie I'm talking about. A person who lives in the desert and hates their life and has to struggle to survive finds a droid that has a secret message on it to tell the rebellion. This person becomes involved with the rebellion, finds somebody who is a reluctant hero, then they join the rebellion and flies a ship and is the great hero at the end. What movie am I talking about?
I don't know. There's 2 answers here.
Oh, I'm sorry. And about 3/4 into the movie, their mentor is murdered by the villain.
Again, this could go one of 2 ways. And the worst part is the reluctant hero they find is the same person.
Yeah.
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 Who?
So here's the thing. Some backstory, some gripe. I may go on for a little bit here, so I do apologize.
Sorry,
I love Star
I've got
Wars.
stuff to drink.
I fucking love Star Wars. I have over 75% of all the extended universe novels. Look at that look on Jay's face.
Sorry. No,
yeah,
you're good.
it's like no joke. I have enough Star Wars t-shirts that I can go like 2 weeks without having to do laundry. And that's not wearing the same shirt twice. No, that's wearing one and throwing it out. And I'm so fucking over this movie. I was so over this movie before it came out.
Right.
When's the last time you saw me wear a Star Wars t-shirt?
Maybe before Thanksgiving.
That's right. I put a moratorium on all my Star Wars t-shirts. I dropped every one of my Star Wars titles. I'm fucking done with this movie. And here's why. I didn't need all the hype around it. And I can't believe I'm agreeing with the asshole who plays C-3PO.
Oh, that guy is an asshole.
Right? He's
Yeah.
a dick. But he was really honest. He goes, I don't understand why all the secrecy and what the big deal is. He was actually standing up against it until Disney kind of ixnayed that real fast.
They're like, hey, do you want to be able to cash that check we gave you?
Ugh. Anthony Daniels, that's his name. Anyways, I love Star Wars, and I was so excited to watch this movie, and I didn't want to be. Like, I wanted to just be like, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
But no, I was excited to see this movie. To the point where I called my favorite movie theater. I had them transfer me to the manager because they don't really give... Because the manager knows who I am because we go to this theater so much.
Right.
So I was like, hey, Steve, which showing has the least amount of people? And he's like, Saturday, 9 a.m. I'm like, done. That's the showing we're going to then. Because I don't want to get ruined by some asshole annoying me. And plus, they serve breakfast now.
Do they really?
Oh, it's really good. Side note, real fast. We love the Cinnabars.
Yeah.
21 or over.
Yeah.
So on the weekends, they do breakfast. And it's $4 for this biscuit. Like this wide.
Okay.
For those of you who can't see, it's about 3 to 4 inches in diameter. It's $4 for the biscuit, and it's tall too. It's about 2 inches.
Okay.
And you can put on it whatever you want, and depending on what you put on it, it's an extra $1 or $2.
Sure.
So I put on sausage gravy and a fried eggs
Okay.
and bacon.
Nice.
Cost me $6, and it was fucking delightful.
I'm gonna have to go see a morning movie on the weekend now.
To the point where this morning I was like, "What do I want for breakfast?" I actually want a Cinnabon muffin.
Can you just go there and order it to go?
Well, they don't. It's Saturday, Sunday only. Otherwise,
that's
I
good
would
call.
just go to the bar, eat, and leave.
Oh, that's true. You can just eat at the bar.
Yeah. So if you want to see a Saturday morning movie, I'm down. So I'm
Nice.
like, awesome. I'll get breakfast, have a mimosa,
Yeah.
which they serve in pint glasses, by the way.
Fantastic.
Right? So I was set. I was super looking forward to it. It starts the intro music and then the scrolls, and I'm just like, this is it. I don't want to be happy, but I'm so fucking excited. By the end of the movie, I was like, why? I just watched the remake of fucking episode 4. It had a Death Star.
Yeah.
That had the same problem. Shoot it right there, and the whole fucking thing gets destroyed. The other thing I didn't understand about this movie, the end of Return of the Jedi, we defeat the Emperor.
Yep.
We kill Darth Vader.
Yep.
The rebellion won.
So how the fuck did they let the First Order come to play?
Right? 30 years later, they're still the rebellion, and I get it. You cut off the Hydra head, more grow in its place. But there's no more Sith stopping you. So in 30 years, you couldn't fucking clean house?
Right.
The other thing that blows my mind, in 30 years, everyone's all like, the Jedi are real?
Yeah.
Really?
Right?
That's like me being like, the Holocaust wasn't a joke?
No,
No fucking shit,
Wait,
people.
The Holocaust really happened?
Well, I mean, yeah, Charlie Chaplin was responsible with that cute little mustache he had.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I had so many problems with this movie. I think in addition to it being essentially a almost scene for scene remake of A New Hope, why the fuck was there so much humor in this movie? Like in the original trilogy, yeah, there was a little bit of humor sprinkled here and there and whatever, and then in the Abomination that was the second trilogy, there was a lot of humor, and people got pissed about it.
Yeah.
So why do you keep doing this shit?
It's not just that, it's everything that's circulating around this movie. You watched it, right? BB-8, male or female?
I didn't know it had a gender.
Exactly. You know why? Because it's a fucking android.
Is that a thing?
They released a press statement saying, no, BB-8 is female.
What?
Despite how they call him, and you know why I said him? Because in the movie they say, hey, buddy, hey, champ. Those are male, but no, they specifically released a press statement specifically stating BB-8 is female.
Was Kelly Sue behind that?
I don't fucking know. And why? It's a fucking droid. Like, all that stuff around the movie just ruins it even more. The hope I have for this movie is episode 8. I hope that because here's the deal. There are people who really loved episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Because they were like 10 to 15-year-olds when they saw it. Right. So to them, that was big.
Yeah.
So I get it. For like the 10 to 20-year-olds now who don't have that connection to the 4, 5, and 6 like we do, this for them is that connection.
Yeah.
The only thing this movie did for me was make me just want to watch 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, right?
Like, that's all it did for me.
Let me put on 4, the better version of this movie.
Exactly. With that said, almost $7 billion in toy sales alone.
Yeah.
The movie is going to break every box office record. Like, it is what it is. We get a new Star Wars movie now every year.
Yeah.
Every year. Granted, it won't be the main title, but new Star Wars movie every year.
Yay.
Maybe like the single man, I can die of a heart attack after I decide not to commit suicide.
There you go.
Yep, that's my option, isn't it?
It's your new life goal.
It is. The only hope I have for movies in the future is Transformers number 6.
Really?
Why Transformers number 6?
That's
why
what I'm asking.
Really? Because Michael Bay has announced he's leaving after 5.
Yes!
Right?
Thank you, Michael Bay, for the belated Christmas present.
So if Michael Bay, if you could just leave Transformers, have Prowl and Rodimus Prime be in charge, current Adrian and 14-year-old Adrian are both going to be really stoked.
Nice.
So I ranted about episode 7. Your thoughts? Anything else you want to add? I don't want to.
No, I mean, you echoed a lot of what I had. Like, why am I paying paying $12 a ticket to see the same movie that I could go at home and watch for free on streaming.
Yeah.
The characters I didn't even like. Like, here's my thing. Like, if this was the very first Star Wars movie I'd ever seen, like if Episode 4 didn't even exist, if this was the first one, I would give zero fucks about any sequels. Like, there was nothing about this movie where I'm like, oh yeah, that was cool, that was good, I enjoyed this. Like, I sat there for the whole 2 hours and 17 minutes, just like, why the fuck did they pay so much money to make this movie?
Here's what blows my mind about it, and I'm gonna rant about the extended universe really fast. Han Solo and Leia, they do have kids in the books. They have a set of twins as their first, called Jason and Jaina.
Okay.
Okay. They grow up to go under the Jedi Academy, and they become badass Jedis.
Okay.
Until Jason, the boy, gets kidnapped by the Sith. Remember how Luke kind of had a premonition in Episode 5? He saw slightly the future, and Anakin did the same thing about his mother, Shmi.
Yeah.
His was super powerful. That he saw if the current Sith apprentice becomes a new master, the destruction of the worlds, how horrible he would be. So instead, he kills him and takes over as a new Sith apprentice.
Right.
Knowing that he's going to be bad, but he ain't going to be that bad.
Which is why there was so much speculation that Kylo Ren was Luke.
Not Luke. Well, yeah. No, what I'm talking about is Han's son. This all happened in the book, Han's son.
Right, yeah.
So he becomes the new Sith because he's the lesser of the two evils. And then, to solidify who he was, he killed Luke's wife.
Okay.
So I feel like they're just still following that book, where instead of him killing Luke to solidify that he is evil,
he kills his own father.
Kills his own father to make that final step. So Rey is going to be the one who kills him in the end. Sure. Just like it was his sister who kills him in the books. The question is, who's Rey's parents?
Right. Which
is it going to be? It's somebody we already can be well aware. It's somebody we know.
Right.
It's either going to be Han and Leia. It's either going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, or it's going to be Luke.
Or it's going to be Lando after a night of like 18 Colt 45s.
Maybe. I think Finn should be Lando's kid.
Yeah, well, okay, sure. I mean, if you want to go with the obvious. But I'm saying Lando was a little light-skinned in the first place.
That's true. That's true, Billy D. You know what's really crazy? She's Chewbacca. She just shaves every morning. She just shaves.
Oh, no.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to keep
moving on.
Moving on to comic books.
Okay.
Before we go over what we have, I have some news I want to announce that I think you might be really happy with.
Okay.
Diamond has released their Gem Awards for 2015. What the Gem Awards are retailers who have Diamond accounts. We get polls and surveys.
Okay.
And we can answer these. And they poll all of our answers, and they provide the Gem Awards.
Okay.
The 2015 Publisher of the Year, as voted on by retailers.
I already know the answer to this, but...
Image Comics.
Absolutely.
Image Comics.
And why the hell not? They've knocked it out of the park this year.
They really have. They really have. To the point where, in my polls this week, I have equal amount Image and Marvel. Granted, it's just one each.
I was going to say it's not a lot, but
still.
So I was talking to you before we started, and I said that all of the comics I read this week I actually read in a certain fashion.
Yep.
And the distributor that I used does not have Image books.
Sons of bitches.
Drives me crazy.
Whew, that must be hard for you.
It is,
okay.
But I'll catch up with them still.
So, what is on your polls this week?
So I read 6 books this week. I read. I really wanted to gouge my eyes out after a couple of these. I read Extraordinary X-Men number 5.
You did.
All New X-Men number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Worst X-Men Ever number 2.
Digital first.
Yeah, so you haven't read it yet. So I've read the first 2 issues of that, and I'll
keep going through
soliloquy
all 5.
about that. Yeah, I'm gonna read them all, but I read Robin War number 2. I read Green Lantern Corps Edge of Oblivion number 1.
Which is just Lost Army with a new title.
But it's a miniseries.
I know, but
Yeah.
it still does a lot of Star
I
with the
know.
new title.
And then I read Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 0.
I also read that, which is a book I'd like us both to discuss.
Okay.
I have dropped all but 2 Marvel books in single issue.
Okay.
Marvel, I will do trade because right now I just cannot bring myself to give a shit.
No.
So here are the trades I bought this week.
Uh-huh.
Assassin's Creed, the
Sure.
Ankh of Isis trilogy. Disney Kingdom's Seeker of the Weird. Disney Kingdom's Figment. And Disney Kingdom's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. You may notice a trend there.
A little bit.
I read Figment and it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I read the first issue of Thunder Mountain Railroad and it was a lot of fun. I read about the first half of Seekers of the Weird and it was a lot of fucking fun.
Okay.
So I'm in. For those of you who are not familiar with what Seekers of the Weird is,
That would include me.
are you familiar with the Haunted Mansion is?
The ride in Disneyland.
The ride in Disneyland. So these are all based off of rides in Disneyland.
Okay.
Like Figment is the dragon from the Epcot Center. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a ride in Disneyland, not Disney World. Seekers of the Weird is not a ride.
Okay.
It was going to be called the Museum of Weird. Walt Disney created 2 rides at the same time with his ride kind of design architect, Raleigh. Raleigh, what's his last name? It's written on here somewhere. Raleigh Crump.
Okay.
He created at the same time the Museum of the Weird and Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
And they decided to make Haunted Mansion instead of Seekers of the Weird. So they created a book
Sure.
of it instead. And the last trade I got is Batman Arkham Knight.
Based on the video game?
Based on the video game written
Okay.
by Brian J. Tomasi.
Peter.
Is that what I say?
Brian.
Yeah, that's the same person.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Peter. Look, if your name's Peter, you might as well go by Brian. It's just as vanilla.
Yeah.
The books I got is Robin War 2, Red Hood Arsenal 8, Superman American Alien 3, Earth 2 Society 8, Green Lantern Edge of Oblivion 1 of 6, Batman Superman 28, Starfire 8, Red Sonja number 1,
Interesting.
Birthright number 13, G.I. Joe number 223, Secret Wars 9, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 0, and I chose the Green Ranger cover.
Fair enough. I noticed you had a lot of inked covers there.
Those aren't inked colors.
Or, well, they're line art covers.
DC is doing adult coloring book covers. So the paper is hard stock. Adult coloring books is huge.
I know
right
it is. I know it is.
Barnes & Noble has devoted sections to it. They're releasing now comic books that are just inked as coloring books. Deadpool's the first one. They're doing Batman Hush. They're doing a bunch of these.
Okay. Yeah.
Some of them I think are kind of cool. Some of them I don't think are that great. But yeah.
I just look, 10 years in the future when somebody's thumbing through quarter bins and they see these, they're going to be like, what the fuck were they thinking?
Same thing they're thinking about when they did X-Men number 1 with 5 different covers.
No, that's great. I have all of those.
Yeah, everyone has all of those. You made a face at Red Sonja number 1.
Well, I just didn't think Red Sonja was something that you would typically go for.
It's generally not. So Dynamite is trying something that is just not going to take off. And they are
Well, that sounds like everything Dynamite tries.
they are reimagining their 3 main female heroes. Deja Thoris, Vampirilla, and Red Sonja.
Okay.
Now, for Red Sonja, it wasn't that much of a difference. They turned the bikini into a chainmail top, and they added on this cloth cape and
Yeah.
a little loincloth to her. No big deal. I don't think there's a good image of it in here. Vampirilla, now written by Kate Less, who is the indie darling of the world. I think I've mentioned her before, the new Kelly Sue DeConnick.
I think you and I have talked about her, not on the air.
Then they added her in this
Little red leather thing.
red leather, neat, Vampirilla. Let's be honest, you guys. Red Sonja, Deja Thoris, and Vampirilla. They're just TNA books. You read them because you want to read barbaric.
They
tits
might
and
as
ass.
well be published by Zenescope.
It really should be. There you go.
Yeah.
She
Okay.
looks like a fucking 12-year-old.
She's like rockabilly now.
Yeah. So we'll see. At least in here, they still kind of stick true to the Red Sonja mythos. It's written by Marguerite Bennett, who I kind of like some of her stuff. I don't like other stuff. But really what happened was yesterday, New Comic Book Day today, we were going through everything. And I was like, oh, interesting. They reimagined it. And it ended up in my box. And I was like, oh, all right, well, I'll buy it.
Okay, fair enough.
The ones we're really going to talk about are Secret Wars number 9 and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 0.
Okay.
Let's talk about... You have the book you want to talk about before 0? We'll talk about 2 individuals and we'll share this one together.
Real quick, I'm going to explain the train wreck that is Worst X-Men Ever. Because as bad as it was last week, I think it got worse this week.
Oh, good. Good.
So for those of you that have not read this one or don't know what the premise is, so issue 1 is all about this kid who it opens up him trying to figure out how to ask this girl out. So he's talking to his best friend. He's like, I'm super obsessed with so-and-so. I should ask her out. And the kid's like, no, you really have nothing going on in your life that would be interesting to her. You are as plain and run-of-the-mill and unnoticeable as you can get. So the kid's like, oh, well, maybe if I figure out something to be cool. So he, like, tries to learn guitar, and that doesn't go over. He tries to be an artist, and that doesn't go over. Like, just, he's broccoli. He's celery. He's like... You get no more interesting or no less interesting than what he is. So his parents are like, hey, we need to talk to you. He's like, okay. And they're like, so we've never told you this, but we're mutants. And as 2 mutants who had a kid, there's a real good shot you are also a mutant. So he's like, finally, something interesting. I've got a thing. So they take him, of course, to the X Mansion because everybody apparently can just walk into the X Mansion and be like, what's up? We're mutants. Also, this book's totally non-canon. So the universe that it takes place in, the writer is just like, I'm going to pull whatever version of every character that I like.
Max Landis, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Bemis. Max Bemis.
Okay.
Who was the same guy that did Evil Empire.
Yeah.
And also the lead singer for Say Anything? Sure, whatever. So you've got like 2 years into the X-Men Kitty Pryde, and you've got, it's just whatever version of everything he wants. So Beast is going to give him a test to see what his mutant power is. So he runs a bunch of tests, and he's like, hey, I got good news. You do, in fact, have a mutant power. You can explode, and you can control the intensity of your explosion. And the guy's like, cool, so I can go into the battlefield, and I'll just, explode and knock out the bad guys, and then I'll regenerate like Wolverine. And Beast is like, no. You misunderstand. You can explode once. That is the extent of your mutant power. Once you explode, you're gone. You're dead.
Well, that's like the worst X-Men power ever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the kid's all dejected, and him and his parents are leaving the X-Mansion. And he's like, well, that sucks, but, at least I still have my parents. And then all of a sudden a sentinel comes down and lands on his parents and kills them. Right?
Okay.
Right? Like, this is only halfway through the first issue.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So now the kid doesn't have parents, so he's staying at the X-Mansion, and Beast is like, hey, good news, you're still a mutant, so that's all the qualification you need to be an X-Man. So while you may not be able to go out in the field and use your power, I built you this exosuit that you can hang out in and go out in a fight and still be protected. So we're going to train you how to use that. That's issue 1. Issue 2 starts out where the Purifiers are now attacking the X-Mansion.
As they do.
Yeah. So this kid's like, oh, I can help out. And every place he goes to where the Purifiers were, the actual X-Men with good powers have defeated all of them.
Like Colossus.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, well, there's got to be somebody. So he sees one Purifier that's running away from the mansion. So he runs after the guy. He's in his exosuit. He runs after the guy. The guy spins around and all of a sudden starts having flashbacks about his uncle, beating the shit out of him as a kid. Because somehow this young mutant reminds him of his uncle. I don't know. So the guy's, crying and pissing himself and all that. Cutscene. Now they're sitting in a lawyer's office. The Purifier is suing the kid for mental anguish. So the kid is obviously feeling bad. Cutscene. He's sitting outside the X-Mansion just moping as emo kids do with explosion powers.
Sure.
And all of a sudden one of the other students from the school shows up and is like, hey, I know it would make you feel better. You should sleep with someone.
Okay, sound logic. I'm behind this one.
And
Sure.
she's like, namely me. And the kid's getting all nervous.
Go for it, homie.
And then the girl's like, well, maybe you prefer somebody a little bit older. Transforms into the kid's mom. Super weird.
Nope.
No, sorry. Transforms into Jubilee first, and then the kid's mom.
Nope. I'm out.
And then you find out it's actually just Mystique.
Well, let me get this straight. Mystique has decided to sleep with this like 16-year-old little shit.
Yeah. So her whole ploy is get the kid's trust. So she's like, your talent's being wasted here. If you come with me, I'll teach you how to do like better things and stuff like that. I'm gonna send you a text in a couple days with a mission, and you need to do whatever I say, and then you can be part of our team. So then it goes to the danger room. The kid's like, I can't even use my powers in here. I'm gonna go play Halo.
Solid choice.
Yeah. Gets a text from Mystique, and it's, here's your mission, kill the bald guy. And it's just a picture of Xavier, because Xavier's still alive in this time. And that's the end of the issue. So I think they mistitled this issue. Instead of Worst X-Men Ever, I think it needs to be Worst X-Men Book Ever.
Okay.
Because it's horrible story, horrible characters, the art itself is shitty. And I'm like, this doesn't fit with any of this other X-Men stuff I'm reading, because I've got people in here that are alive that aren't alive in actual books, and I'm confused. It is actually worse than All New X-Men.
Well, that's a bad book to beat.
Yeah.
But is it worse than Secret Wars number 9?
I don't know. I didn't read
Oh.
it. I gave up on Secret Wars issue 2.
So this is the culmination of Secret Wars. They extended it an issue. It was going to be 8. It is now 9 issues. It's been going on since May. It's done. Finally, it's done. And you know what's changed because of it?
Nothing?
2 things.
Okay.
1, Ultimate Spider-Man is in our universe,
Okay.
and Doom is not ugly anymore. Remember how he's disfigured and stuff?
Yeah.
He's now back to being Doom. Just
Okay.
handsome Victor Von Doom.
So, clarification on point number uno.
Yeah.
So does that mean there's dos Spider-Men now?
Yes, there's Miles and Peter in our universe.
Oh, sorry. I was totally mixing up with 2099. Because isn't 2099 in current time too?
Yeah.
So there's 3 Spider-Men.
Sure. Why? Why not?
Because fuck, that's why.
So, okay. I'm gonna try to explain this to everybody.
Okay. Hold on. Let me put my my Grant Morrison cap on.
So take all reason and logic and just throw that aside for now.
Yep. No, that comes with the Grant Morrison
That comes
cap.
with Grant Morrison cap. So Secret Wars came from Avengers, where we found out all the universes were colliding
Yes.
and destroying each other.
Right.
And the final 2 universes was our Earth and the Ultimate Earth.
Yep.
And as soon as they were about to hit the incursion point, Doom and Molecular Man had an agreement, and actually, as soon as they impacted, became one world, Doom's world. And all of his power was granted by the Molecular Man. And Doom became this god of this world.
Quick interjection. When was the last time Molecular Man did anything of note?
Right now. Oh, before this?
Yeah.
I want to say at some point in Fear itself, maybe.
Okay. Way to pull from your E-list, Marvel.
Yeah. So we found out there's only one Molecular Man in all the universes.
Okay.
So you know, there's me here and another version of me in another universe.
Yep.
It's not that case. For him, it's just a part of him in another universe.
Okay.
So they went around killing the other one, so there's just one left of all this ultimate power.
Got it.
So, guess who stops Doom? The Fantastic Four, like they always do.
Okay, that's the obvious, yeah.
Yeah. They stopped Doom. And they are now putting the other universes back together.
And they needed an extra issue for that?
So,
how much did you pay for that issue? What was the cover price on that issue?
$4.99.
Motherfuckers.
So, I'm going to read to you how they explain it. I read this. I audibly groaned. Like just, oh. So, this is Valerie explaining it to Susan. Owen, who's the Molecular Man, over there is the key. He's kind of a human repository of unlimited power. And that omnipotent power has to be directed, used by an individual. In this case, it's a dad. So, Reed Richards. And that's where it really gets interesting. As Franklin is a universal shaper, a dreamer. So he has these ideas, and the picture is Franklin holding a bubble that is a whole universe. For universes, whole universes, Mom. And then he gives them to Dad. And Dad uses all that power and spins them into their own reality. So then you see Reed throw these...
So, I'm sorry. Reed Richards is currently shot-putting universes?
Yes. And then the Molecular Man, finally, they slice off a bit of Owen, the Molecular Man, to go with it, like an anchor. But it also serves to make the Molecular Man better, whole, healing him. So, and then she goes, that's just the start of what we're doing. All of this has to be cataloged, recorded, and explored. So we're like Lewis and Clark, except for all of existence. And instead, Lewis and Clark were creating the land they were exploring.
Okay, so
all the universes that were destroyed, Franklin is thinking about what they should be. Molecular Man is making them into these bubbles that Reed Richards is then throwing, and they're becoming all new universes.
Okay, so Franklin Richards is dreaming up universes. Molecular Man is making them exist. Franklin Richards is shot-putting them.
Reed Richards is shot-putting them.
Reed Richards is shot-putting them. And somebody's creating a Microsoft Access database of them?
That's correct.
Fuck Marvel. Like, seriously.
So essentially, I got all 9 issues for nothing to fucking change.
No.
There's now multiple universes again.
But, okay, really, what is the last major event in any comic books that's permanently changed anything?
Oh, I can explain. That was going to be my next gripe.
Okay.
So this leads into the comic books we have now from Marvel, which we already knew Von Doom went to being handsome and a good guy after this because it shows it in Iron Man. Because they were so behind on this, but everything else has already been released. Civil War II begins in April.
Mm-hmm.
The premise of Civil War II is a new hero is discovered with the premonitions of the future.
Is that Sentry? Because I know Sentry's coming back.
No.
Okay.
But they realize they are specific and exact. He is right on, 100%. So Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, decides we should go stop the crime before it happens. And Tony says the punishment can't come before the crime. Enter Civil War II, where Marvel has announced we will lose a main character, guys. Someone's gonna die.
So essentially what you're saying is Marvel has taken the would you shoot Hitler as a baby argument and put it on page.
No. They watched the new Minority Report TV show and decided to make that
they were the ones that watched it.
Yeah, they're the ones. That one.
That one. They just had it on the one screen in the lobby as you walked in. Got it. Okay.
So now you know why I dropped all my Marvel titles and we'll probably get trades.
Yeah. I mean, if I were you, I wouldn't even get the trades.
About 50-50 on it. You know me, I'm a completist on my things.
I know. We're terrible like that.
We are. Let's talk about something that I did not hate. Surprisingly, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Zero.
Wait a minute. Why is that surprising?
Because it's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Written by Kyle Higgins.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
So that right there is like 3 positive points.
The art in it was also...
The art's very good.
Yeah, the art was solid.
So let me ask you this. Were you a Power Rangers viewer as a child?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I watched it because I had cousins who are a couple years younger than me.
Okay.
And I babysat them quite frequently.
Sure.
And they were watchers. Therefore, I watched it.
Yeah.
I was maybe 2 years too old for it at the time.
Yeah.
So I would not have watched it on my own.
So and you are a couple years older than I am.
Sure.
So I was prime age when it first came out. So I watched the first, 3 or 4 seasons or whatever, like that original
Yeah, with Tommy and Jason and I know everything.
When they were the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And I think right after, I watched up through the season where they got the Thunder Swords. The first upgrade on the swords.
Talking about. Yep.
And in fact, I had all the action figures when I was younger, including the Zords and everything. I believe they are still in the attic at my father's house.
Ooh, go get some. Let's play.
With I'm trying to remember. I think I may have gotten rid of the turtles, but I've got so Power Rangers was my jam before I started watching X-Men the animated series.
Oh, now that's a solid
and then
jam.
boom,
Of course.
X-Men. So this was definitely in my wheelhouse.
And
I loved it. The only thing I didn't like about it is that it's essentially an anthology issue. So there's 3 separate stories in the one issue, and that kind of threw me off.
okay.
But I mean, 2 out of the 3 stories were solid.
So I liked how they did the ongoing adventures of Bulk and Skull because that was like the show. They did the.
That's the 1 out of the 3 stories I didn't like.
I'm not saying I liked the story. I like that they added that because I remember that from the show.
Yeah.
And then what time is it when they fight at the end?
Goldar.
I feel like that story was completely unnecessary. I'm not sure if it's going to come up again.
Okay. I liked the what is the call she does? Make my monster grow.
Yes.
Because that was a definite part of every episode. Every monster sent down there was too small to fight Megazord, so she always had to grow them.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't you just send down a giant monster to begin with?
That's not as much fun.
122 episodes later, you should figure this shit out.
Nope.
Rita Repulsa.
Make my monster grow.
Yeah.
And he did. So for the main part of the story, it is. I think this takes place about season 2, then, right? With the Green Ranger.
Green Ranger was season 2.
He's broken free of Rita's control,
Right.
or so we thought. She's still there in his mind, speaking to him and slightly controlling him. As I read this, like things are coming back to me.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah.
One of the things I laughed about, because I never thought about it as a kid, obviously, because I was a kid. So the page you're on now, where they're calling out their Zords, and you've got Mastodon, Pterodactyl, Triceratops, Saber-toothed Tiger, Tyrannosaurus,
In Dragon Zord.
and Dragon Zord. Like, why not just say dragon? I mean, it's a mythical creature, anyways. But
I don't actually.
why tack Zord on there?
Do you remember him saying Dragon Zord?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I definitely do.
I didn't remember when I read that. I'm like, did he actually say that?
Yo, the whole time he was Green Ranger, he said Dragon Zord. Once he became the White Ranger, it was White Tiger.
Yes. And that's why I liked Tommy, because I loved the White Tigers.
Right.
Also, he had that sword, which was cool.
Yeah.
The whistling into it part, not as much.
No.
But I'll let that shit slide.
But he has that in this, because that's how he calls out his Zord at one point in the issue. Is he's got the little? I think maybe I'm mixing my show and my comic now.
Yeah, he didn't actually use it.
Okay.
Because you see there, and then he's in his Zord.
Okay.
But yeah.
And I totally forgot all the scenes where they would have the pterodactyl disengage from the Megazord.
Yeah.
And fly off and do its own thing.
Which they did.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
It was less in this one. It was them. She kind of teleported as opposed to before. It was like
the seat came back and she dropped down.
This she teleports out, which is fine. Whatever. Like overall, though, it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah,
like it really was. It was just
and like I said, it's Kyle Higgins, and I have not read a thing yet from Kyle Higgins that I didn't like. His run on Nightwing was really good when he was doing. What was the cop thing he did? Image. The
not the sheriff.
Cowl. Yeah, that was good. So,
all right. So, you keep going with Power Rangers.
I am.
There you go. That is all I have for this episode. Yourself?
That's it for me too.
That's it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you.
Bye.